Natural law, the key to unlocking freedom and the preservation of Earth's life support systems. My name is Bill Hoy, and I forgot to mention this in the last episode, the first part of the series. My website is willhoy.com. I don't think I mentioned that. And this is just another caption for my Natural Law podcast on Anchor Spotify. This is a picture of me, Bill Hoy. I am the narrator of this series. So I'm going to move on. Natural Law video series, episode 2, Rights and the Equations of Natural Behavior Laws. This is from the last episode. What are natural behavior laws? Natural behavior laws are a set of inherent, universal, immutable, and unalienable birthrights endowed by creation to species with the capability to access higher intelligence. So let's elaborate more on the birthrights here. So let's break down the first part of the definition again, just going through this again, the definition here of natural behavior laws. They're inherent, universal, they're immutable, unalienable, and birthrights. That's what I'm getting to here. They're birthrights. When we're born, these rights are ours. And let's continue with these birthrights. What is a right? Well, a right is something that's correct. That's really what a right means, folks. Right just means correct. You get something right. That's what it is. And there are objective rights and subjective rights. Okay? I'm going to get into that. Now, this next bullet point here, underneath that, a right is any physical and verbal initiation or response that does not violate a law. That's pretty deep stuff. There's a rabbit hole there. There's a big time rabbit hole, okay? And I'm going to try to explain this as best I can. Once again, you got to observe and discover this for yourself, and got to start looking into this stuff. Let's go back to Spooner here and cover something that Spooner, I went over in the last episode in Spooner quotes. That's what I'm talking about there. Law is an intelligible principle of right. Right. Rights come from laws of objective occurrences that govern the universe. A right is an objective correct behavior. Most behaviors are rights. The only behaviors that are objective wrongs, hence, in quotes, not rights, are behaviors that violate laws. Behaviors that initiate physical harm to other sentient beings are wrongs. This is universal, folks. Continue on. This includes behaviors that support and facilitate physical harm to others. If I choose to paint my bedroom blue, that is a right. Someone else may think it is the wrong color and paint their bedroom another color. That is a right as well. Both behaviors did not initiate harm. These are subjective rights. Morality is objective. So to the blue here, objective morality. Morality that is based in fixed universal principles of the laws governing behaviors of human beings. A moral behavior is any behavior that does not cause harm to other people. The only exception to this law is the use of self-defense. Okay, so let me just continue. Self-defense can be either an act to repel an immediate attack or punishing a person that is harming people without just cause. Now, let me just get to the causing harm, okay? Do not initiate, okay? Do not initiate physical harm. That is objective morality, okay? So even when someone uses self-defense, they will cause harm to another person, possibly if it's a physical altercation. But once again, it's about initiating. So using self-defense, physical self-defense can harm another person, but that's not an initiation of aggression. So do not initiate aggression. So I just want to clear up the whole idea of immoral behavior is any behavior that does not cause harm to other people. Initiate. I want to be clear about that. Okay, and self-defense is not initiation. Self-defense is not an initiation of harm. So over to the red here in subjective morality. Morality that is based in a person's preferences or belief systems, like Spooner said, will, numbers, and power, right? It is when a person may have different views of morality that they adhere to themselves. It is when a society of people have different views of morality. Subjective morality usually results in harm to people who have not given any reason to be harmed. That's where that leads. And a lot of people think that most people don't even understand what morality is. It's objective. Morality is objective. Everything else is just preferences, wills, and preferences. A person may want to think that 2 + 2 = 5. This is not a right because this is not correct. This violates the law of mathematics. And I just want to add, if a person were to act on their thoughts that 2 + 2 = 5, they're going to be behaving incorrectly. Hence, if they were to choose to manage their finances from the concept, from their thinking that 2 + 2 = 5, they're going to have a pretty messed up checkbook, and their finances are going to be all messed up. So continuing on, 2 + 2 will never equal 5 no matter where you go in the universe. In the case of causing physical harm to others, it is universally incorrect to initiate the harm. It is correct to harm others in self-defense. All laws are universal. Back to this again, to the universal laws of behavior. Universal laws of behavior for beings with higher intelligence on this planet Earth, that's human beings. And the sum of morality equals the sum of freedom. That's what those E's are, the sum of. And also the sum of immorality equals the sum of slavery. I'm going to get to that later. First, I'm going to start with morality to freedom. This is amazing stuff, folks. It's just a shame that we humans just completely reject this. Objective universal morality covers all behaviors that initiate physical harm to other sentient beings. It's objective. It's pinpoint. Once again, continuing. Including behaviors that facilitate and support the initiation of harm to others. Moral behaviors constitute freedom. The very existence of morality is freedom. They're synonymous. Morality and freedom. They go together. What is freedom? A lot of people don't really know what freedom is. At least on a deeper fundamental understanding. All humans have the gift of free will at birth. This gift comes from creation, the Creator. I'm going to get to that in later episodes. If objective morality was an innate characteristic of humans, this would not be freedom. See, a lot of people don't understand that. A lot of people don't understand. A lot of people think that either we humans are supposed to be innately moral or we're innately immoral, and both are incorrect. It's human beings are not naturally moral or immoral. All humans have the gift of free will at birth. Repeating that again. Okay? So you have to understand that, I'll just put it this way, and I'm going to get to this more in later episodes. If the Creator or God, once again, this is not a religion. I'm going to get to that in later episodes, but I'm promising you this is not a religion. This is not a religion. If creation was to have humans automatically behave morally, that would not be freedom. Okay, let me continue here. In order to be free, humans are gifted with the ability to make free will choices. Okay, that's important. Continuing on, this gift comes with the additional gift of the ability to access higher intelligence. We humans are a wonderful species, man. I mean, we're amazing. We're better than fucking computers, man. Kidding me? We humans have the ability to compute like computers. We're gifted with free will. We can make choices. And we have capabilities to achieve infinite awareness. I mean, we're just an amazing species. It just drives me crazy that we dumb ourselves down with all the stupid shit. Television and public schools, all the bullshit. And something else I wanted to talk about. I forgot it, but I'm going to keep going. Humans are a part of the mammal species. However, the gift of higher intelligence separates us from all other mammals on Earth. Okay, folks, that is very important. Continuing on, all behaviors start with a choice. Humans are free to choose to either align their behaviors with objective morals and receive a state of freedom, or refuse to align with morality and receive a state of slavery. It's that simple. But then again, it's kind of not that simple. But I just can't get over how we humans, we're better than computers. And that now I remember what I want to say. We're better than computers because we humans have a soul and a spirit. Computers will never have that. I don't care what you put in a fucking computer. I don't care about your artificial intelligence. We humans have natural intelligence. And we're not achieving what we can achieve as far as consciousness. When an objective standard of morality is known, understood, and aligned with, that's behaviors, okay, by beings with the capability to access higher intelligence, this guarantees the existence of the state of freedom. This is especially true in large societies. As a society becomes more immoral, that society will become more enslaved. This is automatic. This is a law. As morality leads to freedom, morality is freedom. Immorality leads to slavery. And immorality is slavery. I'm going to get to that. And see here the Nazi symbol there, and you see the communist star there. The Nazi symbol is indicative of Nazi Germany, and you got the communist star there that's symbolic of the Soviet Russia and Mao's China. And that's where immorality leads. You don't think these societies were immoral? You don't think these societies were immoral? Do some investigation, man. Look into this objectively. Absolutely, you can absolutely see how societies become more immoral and become more enslaved. And this is a Brazilian slave in 1839. You don't think this society was immoral? You think this society just all of a sudden, in the snap of a finger, became this immoral? No, it led up to this. Led up to this. Take a look at that. That's pretty symbolic, huh? Just like Fauci said in the beginning of the mask wearing. Masks are symbolic. This is domination. That's what these masks are about. These masks are about domination. I mean, really, this picture looks like something you would see in some sick, perverted sexual ritual or something, man. I mean, this is some sick shit. But there you go. There's your mask. It's a form of domination. Just like all of us slaves all around the world were wearing our masks. You don't think our society's becoming immoral? More immoral? You don't think? You don't think? Check that out. I got them in bondage around the neck, chains around the neck. And folks, this has just changed in the modern era. As our society's gotten more immoral, we have all these tracking gadgets on us now. Our phones basically have us on this chain. And many other devices, they got the ankle bracelets. They put the ankle bracelets on people who have supposedly committed some subjective crime in most cases. Got all this kind of bondage here with the neck chains has just changed. Become more technologically advanced. And this is, keep in mind, as a society becomes more moral, that society will become more enslaved. The World Economic Forum, which controls banking, commerce, all the political puppets, the leader of this organization, at least the one that's more visible, Schwab, has said that publicly that the WEF's desire is to have all humans on the planet with brain chips in their heads by 2030. Keep that in mind. Like I mentioned earlier, immorality is slavery. Just like morality is freedom, immorality is slavery. And I'm going to get into this. And I'm going to give you a little cursory idea of how this works, and I will be talking a lot more about this in next episodes, upcoming episodes. Okay, just some definitions here, some clarifications. Violence is the act of violating someone's physical ability to remain free of harm and injury, and it's also, I would also add, using threats and coercion to get a person to make decisions that go against their free will. Kind of like, I would say, stealing people's ability to make moral free will choices. Self-defense is the use of harm and even deadly physical force to repel an attack on the defender's physical body. Okay? The initiation of aggression is coercing, threatening, and engaging in physical harm to someone who has not done the same to others. For example, kidnapping, arresting, that's the euphemism, someone for purchasing substances, selling substances, and or ingesting substances into their body. People who initiate aggression must be stopped. A person who has already initiated aggression and has not been punished must be punished. I want to break this down on a one-on-one basis because, like I said, immorality is slavery, and people tend to look at things in collective form. People tend to look at groups of collectives, groups of people as having more rights than others, and everything starts in the individual. All rights start in the individual, and this is how it's best to get a good idea of how these laws and dynamics work on an individual basis. So you got one-on-one here. You got this person chooses to engage in violence against another, and you got the arrow indicating the violence, and the person having the violence engaged against them. This person is unable to defend themselves. That's slavery right there. See, people can't get that. That's slavery. Even when one person does that to another, that's slavery. That's slavery. It just is. And people will fight this to their dying day. They'll fight this to their dying day. And then you got the same dynamic here, but now you got the person having a violence being engaged against them. This person chooses not to defend themselves. Now you have an even worse situation. It's one thing to be unable to defend yourself. It's another thing to have somebody choosing not to defend themselves. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, this is what we have. And this is, once again, this is a one-on-one basis. This happens routinely on a one-on-one basis. And people will just refuse to accept this to the dying day. And now you have the dynamic as it grows more and more, as more and more people are added to the equation. Now it changes. Now you have slavery growing in the aggregate. So you have more people now, and now you have this group of people here observing this violence. You got the person choosing to engage in violence against another. Yeah, you have the person choosing not to defend themselves. Now you have a group of people watching this. And this group of people, they believe the violence is legitimate. They do nothing to stop the violence. And some even cheer for the violence. This is slavery. This is slavery. And this is also what happens. See, the person engaging in the violence, now you have certain people who are representatives of what people call government, that collective that I referred to, and you have the police officer and the military person who engage in violence, and people think these people have the right to engage in violence. This is slavery. This is how slavery works, and people will fight this to the bitter end. They'll fight it to the bitter end. Nobody will ever want to see this for what it is. This is slavery. This is how it works. Now, there's a different situation here. We have the person, and this person chooses to engage in violence against another. There's the arrow indicating the violence. But now you have the person who's having the violence engaged against them. This person chooses to defend themselves, and you got the self-defense arrow going straight towards the violence arrow. And this is how you end slavery. Okay? On a one-on-one basis. This is how you end it on a one-on-one basis. And now, as more and more people are added to the equation, more and more people engage in self-defense and know and understand that we all have the right to defend ourselves against anyone and everyone, and this is how you end slavery. This is how these equations work. And this is something that I'm going to be touching a lot more on. I'm going to give a lot of real-world examples in more episodes to come, like I mentioned. So this is basically a cursory lesson here, and I'll be getting into this more.